Welcome back. Just about set for baseball. Cubs baseball in high definition is brought to you by Xfinity. Had a nice ceremony in which they unveiled the championship flag as the Cardinals won their 11th World Championship last season. One of their Hall of Famers in attendance, including 91-year-old Stan Musial. Now Dale Swaim's Pepsi lineup for today's game against Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals, brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of MLB. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. DeJesus, Barney, and Castro at the top. Soriano, Stewart, and LaHare in the middle. Soto, the struggling Marlon Byrd, and Jeff Samardzija rounding it out.
Take a look at the Cardinals defensively here. It was supposed to be an afternoon game. It's gradually turning into an evening game, but we'll see Matt Holliday in left, John Jay in center, Carlos Beltran over in right field. Last year's postseason hero David Freese at third base, Rafael Furcal at short, Daniel Descalso and Matt Carpenter will man the right side of the infield. Yadier Molina, he's a fixture behind the plate for the Cardinals, and he'll be receiving pitches from Adam Wainwright. See his numbers in a loss to the Brewers last Saturday, his first start of the year. Did not pitch at all last season after undergoing right elbow surgery in February.
Get the umpires before we start. Greg Gibson will call the balls and strikes. Phil Cuzzi, Vic Carapazza, and the crew chief Jerry Davis around the bases. So again, the weather has not dampened the spirit of the baseball fans here in St. Louis. This place is jam-packed as DeJesus will lead it off against Adam Wainwright, and a fastball on the outside corner. And we're underway.
Well, it may not have dampened their spirits, but it definitely dampened the back of their pants, because it really rained hard here earlier this afternoon. We had doubts we were even going to see baseball today, but looks pretty good.
DeJesus down the right field line. That's a fair ball just inside the line, and it bounced out of play, and that'll be an automatic double.
Well, that's one way to temper the excitement of the crowd here at Busch Stadium today. David DeJesus takes what appeared to be a slider down and in and hooks it just fair down that right field line. If it wasn't so wet, it probably would have kicked up chalk.
Now, if they had a horse race around the warning track, a mutter would win today. Darwin Barney takes a strike.
Yeah, before we get much further in, Adam Wainwright will throw a couple of different fastballs, a two-seam sinking fastball, a four-seamer. He'll mix in a cutter from time to time as well. Good curve, good slider, good changeup. Really just depends on a given day what he's feeling out there on the mound and what his catcher Yadier Molina is seeing as to what pitches they use.
Barney fouls back. These two teams will meet up 17 times this season. See, the Cardinals uniform's a little different. They've got the gold on the logo on the cap, and where it would normally be in red on the uniforms in honor of their World Series championship, they will wear those uniforms throughout this first series. Wainwright 6'7", 228 pounds, and the pitch, base hit left field. DeJesus had to make sure it got through, so he can only advance one base. And the Cubs have runners at the corners with nobody out. It was a couple of hours ago, but we showed you highlights of a big 6-run third against Milwaukee yesterday, and maybe the Cubs are looking for another big inning here.
Well, certainly the first two batters, it looks eerily similar to that big inning that the Cubs had against the Brewers the other day. Just keep stringing them together.
Now Starlin Castro takes a pitch high for ball one. One guy who will be getting a world championship ring before the game tomorrow will be wearing a Cub uniform. Dave McKay, returning to St. Louis, 16 years as their first base coach under Tony La Russa, who is in the ballpark today. Their new manager is Mike Matheny. Curveball strike. 1-1 the count.
Of course, Mike Matheny, a very good catcher in his own right for the Cardinals under Tony La Russa. It seems to be a common thread. If you think back to all the great Cardinal teams in the past, they always had a leader behind the plate.
Here comes the 1-1. Another base hit. Cubs lead 1-0. 3 consecutive hits to greet Adam Wainwright. A double and 2 singles. Castro with his 5th RBI of the year.
Got a pitch up, belt high on the inside part of the plate. He too finds that hole on the left side of the infield. You may notice how close David Freese was playing to the third baseline that time. We've talked a lot about the Cubs and their positioning defensively, and that ball went right through the hole where Ian Stewart defensively for the Cubs would normally be playing.
Still nobody out, and it's Alfonso Soriano. And it's a fly ball to right as Barney is ready to tag as the catch is made by Beltran. Recall had a little bit of an issue with that throw. So first and third, 1 away. And an RBI chance for Ian Stewart.
I'm not making any excuses for Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals, but this was one of the more prolonged opening day ceremonies I've ever seen on a field. Now granted, they won the world championship last year, but after introducing their Hall of Famers and some of their past stars both on the field and in the coaching department, managing department, the players came out one by one. They circled the field in pickup trucks. They've been at the introductions and the celebration for about the better part of an hour and a half, while the Cubs could wait in the clubhouse where it's nice and warm and continue their stretching, get ready to play a ball game.
There's Mike Matheny, their new manager. Former big league catcher. His career ended due to the after effects of a concussion when he was with the Giants. That's a strike on Ian Stewart. And it's 1-1.
Didn't really get a chance to talk to Mike today before the ball game. I'm sure tomorrow will be a little less hectic. I wonder if he uses the same signs to Yadier Molina that he got as a catcher from the Cardinals bench.
Ian Stewart deep to right, and it will go. A 3-run homer. And the Cubs have opened up a 4-0 lead right off the bat. His first homer as a Chicago Cub.
Well, we saw glimpses of it, Len, toward the end of the Cactus League schedule. Ian Stewart started to hit the ball with more authority, started to get some lift on those drives to right field, and this ball is absolutely clobbered. So Yadier Molina was going to pick somewhere on the bases right there, but didn't get a chance because Ian Stewart drove that ball into the bleachers in right field.
That's his first major league home run since August 23rd of 2010. He did not homer last year as a member of the Rockies in 48 games. It has started to rain again, although based on what we had seen in terms of the forecast, it doesn't appear as though anything serious is on the way the rest of the evening. 2-1 on Brian LaHare. Wainwright making his first start in this ballpark since September 19th of 2010. His ERA in this ballpark since it opened in 2006, 2.46. That leads the majors. And he's given up a bunch here in the first inning. He strikes out LaHare, and Molina will fire down to first to complete the out. I was talking with Ian Stewart before the game today about some of his superstitions. He's one of those guys who likes to jump over the foul line when he comes off the field.
I'm not a professional lip reader, but it looked like he was nodding his head to somebody who went up and looked at the video, said four-seamer, meaning a fastball on the inside part of the plate that Ian Stewart promptly rocketed out of here.
That's low to Giovanni Soto. A 1 hour 44-minute rain delay before the Cubs bats exploded here in the first inning. Curveball strike.
Well, if the sun happens to come out, Ian Stewart's well prepared. Got the eye black on. We haven't seen a glimpse of the sun here in St. Louis today.
Soto fans, but the Cubs get 4-3 on the homer by Stewart.
Enough!
No Pepsi for you. And what do you do?
I sing.
Enough!
All right. Pepsi for you.
No, Pepsi for all.
Yeah, boy!
Lunch? Usual.
Gentlemen, it's time to turn this siesta into a fiesta.
Spice up your day with Wendy's Spicy Chicken Filet. Now topped with natural guacamole and our new Spicy Guacamole Chicken Club.
Now that's better.
Lawn gnomes, bird baths, and the competition are officially on notice. Craftsman Turn-Tight Tractors, a best-in-class 6-inch turning radius, 50% tighter than any other tractor. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
High five, America, because we're giving you great comedy 5 days a week.
5 days a week.
5 days a week.
Why, that deserves
The highest of fives.
So when you think America, think 5.
Come on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's great comedy
Give me what? 5.
5 days a week.
Freeze frame high five.
All week long. Right here on WGN America.
Not leave a brother hanging. Woo!
Cardinals are leading the majors with 12 home runs. They're hitting .301 as a team. Even without Albert Pujols, who's now in the American League. And today they're without Lance Berkman, who has a calf injury. You see Matt Carpenter getting the start at first for Berkman. This is still a very strong lineup, however.
And let's take a look at the Cubs defensively today. Behind Jeff Samardzija, brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. It'll be Soriano, Bird, and DeJesus across the outfield, left to right. Ian Stewart at third, Starlin Castro at short, Darwin Barney at second, Brian LaHare over at first base. Giovanni Soto back behind the dish after a big day for Steve Clevenger yesterday, and he'll be receiving pitches from right-hander Jeff Samardzija. What a tremendous debut to the 2012 season for Jeff Samardzija. Was absolutely fantastic against the Washington Nationals. 8 2/3, gave up only 4 hits and 1 earned run. Did not walk a batter, struck out 8.
1-0 on Rafael Furcal. Mid-season acquisition last year. Second to last series of the season last year. You may recall it. The Cubs were here. They won game 1. That put the Cardinals 3 back with 5 to go in the wild card. The next day, Carlos Marmol couldn't hold a 1-0 ninth inning lead as St. Louis rallied for 2 to win it. The next day, Randy Wells took a 2-1 lead into the bottom of the 7th. Yadier Molina hit a game-tying home run. Wells came back out for the 8th, and this guy, Rafael Furcal, hit a game winner. So 2 late comeback wins, and we know what happened after that is Samardzija with an excellent defensive play as he retires Furcal on a line out to the pitcher.
There's no question Rafael Furcal was a great addition for the Cardinals, as you see Samardzija snagging that knee-high liner back through the box. Yeah, not only did Furcal give him a shot of energy, a legitimate leadoff hitter, but really improved their defense at shortstop.
Called strike on John Jay, the center fielder. Yeah, the Cardinals overcame a 10.5 game deficit in the wild card to edge out the Braves on the final day. They were 10.5 out on August 25th. And if you did a scouting report of the 8 teams in the postseason last October, I think you would have ranked the Cardinals 8th. A 2-1 pitch that's pulled on the ground, foul.
Well, the Cardinals had the baseball equivalent of a hot goalie. David Freese was just in heat in the postseason last year. Couldn't get him out.
Swing and a miss for the second out. Make sure you check on our WGN Baseball blog, WGNTV.com. It's brought to you by Jeff Vukovich, nationwide agent serving the area for 33 years for your auto, home, and business insurance needs. Contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. I have a post on these world champs and how the Cubs played a part in their championship run. We have game notes from Stats and much more at WGNTV.com. Matt Holliday with a couple of home runs, hitting just .226. Samardzija working quickly with a 4-0 lead.
Well, that's huge for any pitcher, but especially for Jeff Samardzija. He can't really afford to be a nibbler out there on the mound. Great velocity, great movement on the fastball. The slider's much improved. The splitter is a real good out pitch for him. He can just fire strikes.
And Barney just can't get it. He had a long way to go as he was playing almost behind second base. We talked about Darwin's range. That'll be a base hit for Holliday. He seems to be better going to his right than to his left.
Yeah, some guys are stronger going to one side as opposed to the other. This is one instance that pull shift might have hurt the Cubs a little bit. Looked like Darwin felt like he should have got that ball anyway. But you know, you would rather have Matt Holliday trying to hit ground balls through the right side of the infield. You'll take that all day long.
Kind of like Aramis Ramirez in Milwaukee, trying to replace some of the production lost with Prince Fielder leaving the Brewers. Well, Carlos Beltran trying to pick up a little of the slack as he singles into right center with the loss of Albert Pujols to free agency. First and third, back-to-back 2-out hits for St. Louis.
Beltran waits back well on a breaking ball. Looked like a slider that was working its way toward that inside corner, but it just didn't quite get there. Able to ground it past Barney into right field to put Cardinals at the corners with 2 outs.
Big hand for David Freese, who was the big postseason hero last year, and he's really picked up right where he left off. He grew up in the St. Louis suburbs, so what a thrill for him. He's trying to put it all together for one full regular season. Missed time last year due to a fractured left hand. Just 97 games in the regular season, but then he took home 2 MVP trophies, the NLCS and the World Series MVP in October. He got one of the biggest ovations among all the players, the Hall of Famers, Tony La Russa, all of them. I think David Freese got as big an ovation as anybody save for Stan Musial. And he is the subject of today's Illinois Lottery Anything's Possible player. Brought to you by the Illinois Lottery, who each day make anything possible.
I'll tell you, Len, you know you've made it when Six Flags St. Louis changes the name of one of their rides. It used to be Mr. Freeze with a Z. Well, now it's Mr. Freeze with an S. And tickets cost you $23.
Tied a postseason record with 25 hits in the playoffs. Hit the game-ending home run in Game 6 that came after the game tying two-run triple in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs against the Rangers. Arguably 2 of the biggest hits in World Series history. Sitting in a 2-0 count here as Samardzija got the first 2. Gave up back-to-back hits, and the pitch went with a slider, and it's a strike. Big cut at a fastball. 2-2.
Big swing by Freese on that last delivery from Jeff Samardzija. At pitch number 3, the 2 and 3 were in the zone, but yet the count was 2-0. I don't know. I don't get it. 2-1. Trying to figure this stuff out here. Usually when you throw it over the plate between the knees and you know, the midpoint between the belt and the shoulders, it's a called strike.
You're thinking way too much.
I guess so. That's the postseason hero bonus. They don't always call strikes on you.
Just staying alive.
And good that Samardzija's staying down. David Freese, a good high ball hitter. He really likes to shoot that ball toward the gap in right center field, especially when he has 2 strikes. Good late movement on that splitter. Fouls it off of Gio's left shin guard.
Took that one high. And a full count, 3-2. Samardzija coming off the game of his life on Sunday versus Washington. Now within 1 out of a complete game. Beltran goes from first, and I don't think it's a broken bat. Freese just let go of the bat on that foul.
Going to say usually on an off-speed pitch you try to extend your swing, but I don't believe that was an off-speed pitch. David Freese just lost a handle on that bat.
Another 3-2 and another foul.
Carlos Beltran at one time one of the premier base stealers in the game against the Cubs in his career. 19 out of 20 attempts. Had a number of leg issues over the past 2 or 3 seasons. He'll pick his spots if he feels the defense is not paying attention to him. Of course, he'll be running here on the full count 2-out pitch.
He has always been very efficient on the bases. There goes the bat on a swing and a miss to end the inning. They strand a couple, and the Cubs lead 4-0 after one.
It's not just where you are, but where you want to be. And with smooth drinking Busch beer, the mountains are closer than you think.
We're gonna climb a mountain, the highest mountain. Ain't never coming back.
Isn't it time to head for the mountains?
Can't you see? Can't you see?
As you can see, we like to earn free stuff.
You asked for free, we give you free. Right now, when you book at any of these Choice Hotels, stay 2 separate times, and you can earn 1 night free. Book today at choicehotels.com.
My dad never talked about his family, and I wasn't sure where to start, so I went to Ancestry.com and started with me. Soon, these little leaf hints popped up and led me to my great-grandfather Ernesto, the barber. And his brother, the barber, and their cousin, the barber. Apparently, I come from a long line of hair.
Get started with your family history at Ancestry.com, and we'll help you make your own discoveries.
Pull on those gardening gloves, grab the nearest spade, and let's see how colorful an afternoon can be. With certified advice to help us expand our palette and prices that give us more spring per dollar, we can mix the right soil with the right ideas and bring even more color to any garden. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Lay down a new look with Earth Grow Mulch, now 3 bags for just $10.
Gorin, Eames, Good versus Batter Days. All day Saturday on WGN America.
Hey fans, next time you want to catch a Cubs game, head to StubHub, where you'll find the seats you want and the freedom to choose where you want to sit. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago Cubs. For more information, visit Cubs.com/StubHub.
Marlon Byrd hits the first pitch on one hop to Rafael Furcal, who throws him out. Going to struggle for Marlon, even though he hit that ball hard. He's now 0 for his last 20 and just 1 for 22 on the season. He'll bring up Jeff Samardzija. Goal for 2 to start the season.
Take. Keep taking. And he talked about Marlon Byrd mired in that 0 for 20, and he probably hasn't seen more than about 25 pitches in those 20 at bats. We know Marlon's always been a very aggressive hitter. But after 1 pitch, 1 out to start an inning, especially with your pitcher, the next scheduled hitter, you want him to at least take until he gets a couple of strikes, and now Samardzija's in the 0-2 hole.
A chopper picked up by Freese. 2 quick ones. We want you to keep in touch via email, lenandbob@tribune.com. And you can jump on our Facebook and Twitter pages as well. Bob likes tweets.
I like peeps. Is a tweet like a peep? Little sugary marshmallow.
That's exactly what it's like. It's the internet version. De Jesus off to a good start. He's used to playing games here as a former Kansas City Royal. Came in hitting .336 against the Cardinals. That's the 4th best average among all active players versus St. Louis. See Wainwright working from the far first base side of the pitching rubber. Wainwright's from Brunswick, Georgia, an all-star in 2010, won a Gold Glove the year before. And while he did not participate last year in helping the Cardinals win their 11th World Championship, They're expecting big things from him this year, especially now, Bob, with Chris Carpenter on the DL to start the season due to some nerve irritation in his right shoulder.
30 games over 500 in his career with an ERA still under 3.
And you think of him as a starter, but really you go back to 2006. He ended up their closer late in the year and into the postseason when they won the World Series that year. Fouled at the plate, not a foul tip, as Molina could not hang on. And he's run it full, 3-2. Actually, Wainwright, one of his big pitches in that postseason was a called third strike in Game 7 of the NLCS against his new teammate Carlos Beltran. That ended the game in the series. Cardinals won that game 3-1. The bases were loaded when he came up with that big strikeout. Popped up left side into the wet outfield grass, goes for call to end the inning. After an inning and a half, Cubs 4, Cardinals nothing.
Most women may not be properly absorbing the calcium they take because they don't take it with food. Switch to Citracal Maximum Plus D. It's the only calcium supplement that can be taken with or without food. That's why my doctor recommends Citracal Maximum. It's all about absorption.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Now, baby, can't you see?
Nothing will keep you from Magnum. Silky vanilla bean ice cream and rich caramel sauce, all covered in thick Belgian chocolate. Magnum ice cream for pleasure seekers.
Lawn gnomes, bird baths, and the competition are officially on notice. Craftsman turn-tight tractors, a best-in-class 6-inch turning radius, 50% tighter than any other tractor. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
We picked a great seafood place. It's a tad bit pricey, and hopefully we caught the chef on a good night.
Golden Corral's pan-seared seafood and more. Delicious tilapia, shrimp scampi, sirloin, beef tips, and more. All on our endless dinner buffet, still for one low price, only at Golden Corral.
White Sox Tigers, Sunday 1:30 East, 10:30 West on WGN America.
Hey, Cub fans, if you want to manage the game along with Dale Swain, log on to WGNTV.com right now. Click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and info while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more. Cubs leading 4-0. 3 runs coming off the bat of Ian Stewart, who hit a home run his first as a Cub. Yadier Molina skies one down the right field line, and no play for DeJesus. Molina signed a 5-year extension in spring training worth $75 million, plus a mutual option for 2018. He took over for his current manager as the Cardinals starting catcher in 2005 when Matheny went to San Francisco to finish his career. Well, the Cardinals off to an excellent start, winning 5 of their first 7 on the road. Talking to people who've watched them over the first week, Bob, he said, well, Mike Matheny has not really been taxed in terms of strategic moves because the Cardinals have been playing so well. They haven't been in a ton of close games as Molina strikes out.
Now, one thing you can be sure of, they will be in some close games before all is said and done. It'll be interesting to see how Mike Matheny specifically handles his bullpen. We know in the past Tony La Russa was not afraid to use 4 or 5 pitchers to get through 1 inning late in a ball game. You just have to keep an eye on Mike Matheny and Derek Lilliquist and see how they handle this Cardinals bullpen this year.
This is Matt Carpenter filling in for Lance Berkman, who's dealing with a calf injury. Carpenter was the Cardinals minor league player of the year in 2010 and is on an opening day roster for the first time. He's going old school. He's got a little tape on one of his fingers, but that's it. No batting gloves, no wristbands. You see tape actually on one finger on each hand.
Career minor league hitter at right at 300. Had a couple of 12 homer seasons in the minor leagues. Not big time power.
And a ground ball base hit. Brian LaHair really couldn't get started trying to move to his right. I don't know if he kind of got his foot stuck in the wet dirt, but that ball rolled right past him. Just a late start.
Yep. Yeah, the tarp was on the field pretty much all afternoon during the heavy rains. Really the only water the field has taken is since we started the ball game, and we had that brief mist back in the bottom half of the first inning. The infield should be fine. The outfield might be a little damp, and certainly the warning tracks will be muddy.
Daniel Descalzo, left-handed hitting second baseman, takes ball 1. I'd like to sit down and chat with Mike Matheny. When we do, remind me to ask him if he'll ever hit the pitcher 8th like his predecessor. Dale Swaim was asked if he would ever do that. Dale actually played for Tony briefly in Oakland back in the 90s and had high praise for Tony La Russa. He said, I would never say never in terms of hitting the pitcher 8th. He said the reason you do it is if you had 2 leadoff type hitters. You could go back to back with them 9 and 1 after the first time through the order. The 3-0 pitch is a strike. The other thing Dale mentioned about Tony La Russa was that he always felt like he put his players in the best position to succeed. And at the time, Dale was a bench player. And he said, by and large, he gave me good matchups when I did play. He said he also stuck me out in left field for the first time in my big league career. Bounce to LaHair, and he'll step on first. So a good comeback for Samardzija as he gets Descalzo on a 3-1 pitch. And then the conversation turned to the idea that Tony believes and believed when he managed that if you can play the infield, you can play the outfield. And if he wanted to get a guy's bat in the lineup who was an infielder, he could stick him in left for 6 innings, and if he had a lead, you get him out.
Well, we know how enamored Tony La Russa has been throughout his managerial career with guys who could play multiple positions, and I'm talking about pretty much everywhere on the field. And he's had a number of guys over the years that he's leaned on heavily to play second base one day, left field the next, right field the next.
Swing and a miss, 0-2 on Adam Wainwright. Well, I think the one common thread when you look at great Hall of Fame caliber managers is that they aren't afraid to do things differently from others. Not afraid to be criticized. They all have a reason for doing what they do. But there's something to be said for just not being afraid, right?
Absolutely.
Do what's best for your club, and if you get second guessed, so be it.
I mean, you know your team better than anybody else. You know what they're capable of. You know every player's strengths and weaknesses. And like you said with Tony, you just try to put them in a position where they have the best chance.
Will pop up on a broken bat as Castro will backpedal and make the catch. And the Cubs still lead 4-0 after 2 from St. Louis.
21st Century here with two identical, stolen cars. Luckily, the two cars that used to be here were both covered against theft. One through these guys, the other through 21st Century. So both cars can be replaced. But drivers who switch from Allstate to 21st save $577 a year. Call 888-422-1074 or visit 21st.com. 21st Century Insurance.
Dig it, 21st. At Olive Garden, we're as passionate about cheese as you are. So we've created 3 new Parmesan dishes. New grilled chicken Parmesan, chicken fresh off the grill, as well as grilled shrimp or grilled steak, all with a Parmesan crust. Passion for Parmesan. For a limited time, only at Olive Garden.
Cubby, step into the perpetual motion simulator. We're testing new Degree, the only antiperspirant activated directly by movement. Activating protection, Bear! It releases bursts of protection as you move. Feeling fresh and dry, Bear! The more you move, the more it works. Oh, no! New long-lasting Degree with motion sense. Help me! Keep running.
Neighbors! We shouldn't need a GPS to find the fertilizer. We should go to Ace, where we can zip in, find what we need, and zip out.
Our speedy-sized stores help get your weekend back at Ace.
Relationships are like a freeway. Wait a minute. A month ago, you told me relationships were like a traveling circus.
How I Met Your Mother, tonight at 8 East, 5 West.
The 2012 Chicago Cubs baseball season on WGN TV is brought to you by Bud Light. It's a sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Packed house here in St. Louis. Hey, host your guests in luxury in the Budweiser Bleachers. The Budweiser Bleacher Suite features a sports bar atmosphere with new TVs, bar-style tables, and windows that open to give you the atmosphere of the bleachers in your own private room. The suite can hold up to 100 guests and includes food, drinks, and parking. For more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-4200. Darwin Barney with a single and a run. In the opening inning, he leads off the Cub third. Early afternoon start tomorrow. Chris Volstad and Lance Lynn, who's in the rotation with Carpenter out, for call to Carpenter. Paul Maholm, Jake Westbrook on Sunday afternoon. Some other home openers today. The Yankees shut out the Angels 5-0 in New York. Hiroki Kuroda went 8 strong innings, and A-Rod hit his 630th homer, tying him with Ken Griffey Jr. for 5th on the all-time list. First of the year for A-Rod, who went 3 for 4. Albert Pujols is hitting just .222 with the Angels. He is 6 for 27 with 2 doubles. That's it for the extra base hits.
If I recall, last season Albert got off to a slow start, and a lot of people were wringing their hands here in St. Louis, wondering if he might be near the end. Well, He wasn't.
Jacoby Ellsbury had to leave the Red Sox home opener today with an apparent shoulder injury. Red Sox won 12-2 over Tampa Bay as Castro will head down to first with a 1-out walk. Josh Beckett over David Price. And the White Sox beat Detroit 5-2. So the Sox are now 4-2 on the season. Jake Peavy over Max Scherzer. Soriano off the end of the bat just pokes it past a diving Matt Carpenter and into right. And that'll send Castro around to third. Well, we've already seen a couple opposite field hits from Alfonso Soriano, who had very few last year.
A couple of them might have been by design. This one is accidental. Just kind of cues it off the end of the bat, but finds a hole on that right side of the infield, chasing Starlin Castro around to third base. And that's significant because it opens that hole on the right side of the infield. Matt Carpenter will have to hold on Soriano over there, giving Ian Stewart a nice hole on the right side to shoot for.
On Ian Stewart. Laid off a breaking ball, throw to first, and Soriano got back in barely. And let's check out our Nissan drive of the game. Get to a Nissan dealer for great deals on innovation you can count on. Innovation for all. This one felt good. It had been a while for Ian Stewart. (3-0).
And you saw that pickoff attempt by Yadier Molina down at first base on Alfonso Soriano. Cub fans who have been paying attention, I shouldn't even have to say it. Every base runner is a potential pickoff victim from Yadier Molina. Loves to throw to the bases, especially when his pitcher's in trouble.
Bases loaded, 2 walks in the inning. Derek Lilliquist has taken over as a Cardinals pitching coach. Dave Duncan here today, but he's on an extended leave of absence to be with his wife, who's recovering from brain surgery. Brian LaHare. High fly ball out into deep left center. On the warning track, and it's gone. A grand slam. Brian LaHare knocks in 4 with 1 swing. It just kept on carrying. And the Cubs have doubled their lead. The first career grand slam for LaHare.
What great approach by Brian LaHare. He's shown that opposite field power in the past. Wasn't sure about this one. Hit high in the air to left center. Can't really feel a lot of wind here at Busch Stadium tonight, but just enough to get it into the Cubs bullpen. Touch them all, Brian.
His second homer of the year. Cubs with their second straight 8-0 lead. That was the final score yesterday. Soto to right, Beltran with a catch. 2 down. Well, what I like to see is the lineup take advantage of a couple of walks. Make that pitcher pay.
%42 of the time so far this season, Marlon Byrd has hacked at that first pitch. You see the major league average is just a touch over 25% swinging at the first pitch.
Bob, the Cubs last year hit 0 grand slams for the first time since 1997. This year they hit one in game 8. Bird will drop one down and left. Snaps along 0 for 20. That grand slam by LaHare is the Cubs' first since Aramis Ramirez did it in Houston on October 2nd of 2010. Derek Lilliquist out to talk it over with Wainwright.
There's a little bit of stirring around in that Cardinals bullpen. I see somebody taking off a jacket out there.
It's Kyle McClellan. And Samardzija takes a big hack and a foul strike. One and two. Matt Cain no hitting the Pirates in the 6th. Giants home opener today, 2-0 San Francisco. Well, that no hitter in the 5th, 6th, or 7th, that's no big deal these days. It seems like every day we've got a no hitter alert.
You get good pitchers on top of their stuff on a given day, hitting their spots early in a ball game. Yeah, before you know it, you look up and it's a 6th or 7th inning and go, wait a minute, we don't have a hit.
Victor Marte up in the Cardinal pen. Foul tip for strike 3. Another 4-run inning. Cubs have put up 2 of them. And 7 runs today on home runs. This one a grand slam by Brian LaHare. It's 8-0 Cubs.
There are 2 truths when it comes to baseball and car insurance. Just think 15. In baseball, it takes 15 outs to get to the middle of the 3rd inning. And in car insurance, you could save 15% or more by switching to Geico. All summer long, whether it's baseball on WGN America or car insurance from Geico. The number 15 is all you need to know.
Let's start with car insurance X. This one does save people a lot of money. It is very affordable.
It was very delicious.
If you could please taste car insurance Y. This one is much more expensive.
It's really bad.
Let's see what you picked.
Oh, Geico.
Over their competitor. You are a magician, right?
No.
Oh, you're not?
No.
All right, well, give it a shot.
I am so sorry.
It was that close.
At Mobile, we believe it's smarter to change your oil than change your car. We believe in friends that go the extra mile engines that go the extra years. We believe your engine should last till this little one has little ones of her own. That's why we created Mobile Super, tested and proven to help reduce wear, prevent sludge, and extend the life of your engine for the long, long run. Mobile Super for long engine life.
This is Lois. The day starts with arthritis pain, a load of new listings, and 2 pills. After a morning of walk-ups, it's back to more pain, back to more pills. The evening showings bring more pain and more pills, sealing the deal when, hang on, her doctor recommended Aleve. It can relieve pain all day with fewer pills than Tylenol. This is Lois, who chose 2 Aleve and fewer pills for a day free of pain.
Try Aleve D for strong all-day sinus and headache relief.
Cubs, Marlins, Wednesday at 7 East on WGN America.
Ryan LaHare with a grand slam. And the Cubs have now put up 8 all earned against Adam Wainwright. Wainwright making his 121st career start. It's only the 2nd time in his career he's allowed 8. He gave up 8 earned runs at the Dodgers back on May 15th, 2007. Top of the order now for the 2nd time. Ball 1 to Rafael Furcal. Here's Jeff Samardzija trying to win his 2nd in a row to start the season. Now we should note regarding the Cubs starting staff, they came in today leading all major league rotations with 45 strikeouts and leading the National League with 46 2/3 innings pitched. Matt Garza got within a throw to first of a complete game shutout yesterday, but he airmailed one into the seats. And Sean Camp came in, got the final out.
I think it was wind shear.
What did Dale call it? Possibly the greatest worst throw ever. Ian Stewart will throw out Rafael Furcal.
Well, it sure got a lot of play on the highlight shows, Len, as you well know. Down in the clubhouse before the ball game, the players were watching some highlights, and the worst plays of the day. Matt Garza right there at the top of the list. Hey fans, tickets are available now for the 2012 Cubs season, including the next homestand against division rivals the Reds and the Cardinals on April 20th through the 25th. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office.
Garza and Paul Mulholland chatting. Big swing by John Jay. Quickly 0-2 on the Cardinal center fielder. Jeff Samardzija's got 2 little lazy ground ball outs today on 3-1 pitches. One and 2.
Usually that's a testament, Len, to a little extra velocity, maybe a little extra movement that the hitter isn't expecting. You get major league hitters putting the ball in play weekly, 2-0, 3-1. It usually means that pitcher's got his good stuff on that night.
Splitter in the dirt. Matt Holliday on deck. The slider that time, 3-2. With a fastball, and it's rolled into right. Four hits for the Cardinals. They've all been singles. And here's Holliday, who picked up one in the first inning.
Mentioned the improved defense by Rafael Furcal, a big key to the Cardinals' late surge at the end of the season. Well, John Jay, also a defensive upgrade in the outfield. Really made some stellar defensive plays, not only at the end of the regular season, but into the postseason.
Holiday to left. And 2 down. Go back to 2 3-1 pitches. Daniel Descalzo, a little weak ground ball in the second inning. And then Rafael Furcal didn't even take a full hack.
Yeah, just kind of smothered those sinkers. One down at the bottom of the strike zone, the other right on the outside corner. They must have appeared like good pitches to hit when they started the bat, but by the time they got the bat into the hitting zone, the ball had moved enough to turn it into a weak ground ball.
Carlos Beltran, career .324 hitter against the Cubs and .340 in this ballpark as a visitor. I think the key with this Cardinal team this season is full health. Already without Chris Carpenter to start the season. But you've got some veterans, and even a guy like David Freese has yet to stay fully healthy. Foul tip.
That's a sign of Jeff Samardzij's improvement on the mound from early in the season last year as a relief pitcher and into a starting pitcher this year. He's able to throw that slider behind in the count, throw it for a strike, and get a swing and a miss. And that slider for him early in the season last year was almost one of those pitches that he only threw 0-2 and usually pulled it over into the left-handed batter's box because he was afraid to make a mistake with it. I think he's got enough confidence in it now, obviously, to use it as a weapon, either as a strikeout pitch or to get back into the count. Seems to be the split finger he's having most of the trouble with today. Can't consistently keep it around that zone. He's missed high with a couple of splits back in the first inning. This one in the dirt near the feet of Carlos Beltran.
Jay will run with his 3-2. There he goes. Ball 4. First walk today, first walk of the season allowed by Samardzij.
And that's one I'm sure he's going to have to explain to Chris Bosio. A 3-2 pitch with an 8-0 lead. He tries to throw a backdoor slider, just leaves it out there a little bit too far. If there was ever a time to challenge with your best pitch, which is that good tailing sinking fastball, it's with an 8-0 lead.
Now Freese, a career .304 hitter, still hasn't played in his 200th game yet, however. Dealt with ankle problems 2 years ago, and then the fractured left hand last year. Samardzij's faced the Cardinals a lot, mostly as a reliever. But he looks to us to be a different pitcher, and I'm sure for opposing teams, they really have to look at scouting reports from this year, not years in the past.
Well, when you're coming out of that bullpen to face, maybe 2 or 3 hitters, get through an inning, probably going to feature different stuff than when you have to work your way through an opposing lineup 3 or 4 times. We've seen it already in his first start, plus 2 2/3 innings here today. A lot more sliders, a lot more splitters, still relying on that heavy sinking fastball.
Ground ball to LaHare, and he'll take it unassisted to end the inning. They have left 5 on through 3, all Cubs early.